Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Michael, Austin, and I are back for Australian Survivor Redemption Week 6, episodes 16 through 18. And another week, another season of Australian Survivor teasing us about going to rocks and then not having it happening.
So close every time, but no, Brooke decided we're not doing it.
No.
We can't have nice things, and we'll talk about the decision and whether we agree with it. But another fun week, some big moves. I like the us versus them. I like how Keely's been branded just a returning player now. And now Jackson apparently is the returning player versus these newbies that everyone insults their games and says they've got no moves and they've got no resume and they should just quit. It's got quite nasty, which I appreciate.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Austin?
Well, so of course I was gone last week, so I had to catch up on 6 episodes. So this was a lot of fun. I won't lie to everyone. It's the first 4 episodes are all meshing together, pretty dandy. So as we talk about this episode, the first one that we're going to talk about, I will be more keen to it. But I will say this week it's been very fun. I loved when I don't want to spoil it too much because there's a few parts of certain episodes that we'll definitely probably talk about. But
yeah,
there was definitely some really like cool niche-y moments in these episodes that I was really a fan of. And God, just the thought process on some of this was just masterful. I mean, there's certain players like Keely that just really jumped up on like the Survivor list for me. Like, oh wow, they did something unique and good. Like, you know what I mean? So fun week, enjoyed it.
Yeah, like you guys have said, I think in my opinion, Keely is probably one of the best, if not the best, like new player to play with a bunch of returnees that I've seen. I think like that's so hard to do. And obviously we've had, people in the US, people in Australia that have won with returning players and been a new player, but I feel like they've kind of faded into the background more often than like been a central player. And I think Keely's like one of those that is a central player, and not just like hiding behind a returnee. So
yeah, and if I can add anything to that, when you're a newbie and you're playing with returnees, I feel like Keely's doing a perfect like example of how to utilize a returnee.
yes.
Right? Like she is working with Simon. She definitely trusts Brooke, and like, yeah, Brooke's a threat, but she's using her correctly. Like when they were both getting targeted in one of these episodes, she rightfully does what she should do in that moment. So I agree.
Yeah.
I think that the best example or comparison in Australian Survivor is obviously Liz, and like Liz was so close with George and Shawnee, but she faded into the background a lot in comparison to George and Shawnee. Whereas I feel like Keely's actually on a par with these players, and I would argue, playing a better all-round game than Simon, and to a certain extent, Brooke's relying on certain things that Keely's not, and like Keely's making big moves here where I think she could potentially still win against anyone. I at least have an argument. Like it might be difficult against some people, but I think she still has an argument. That's a real testament to her game. Like, because I think anyone else sat next to any returnee is absolutely up shit creek without a paddle.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Well, let's get into episode 16. So the biggest thing, we get back from tribal council and Mark has just gone, and Keely and Brooke formed the Kaput Alliance. They've gone kaput. So
were you guys annoyed about this?
No.
Being called the Kaput Alliance?
No. The fact that the word kaput is said about 34 times in like 10 minutes in this episode. Is it like Survivor Australia sponsored by kaput? Why are they saying kaput every 2 minutes? Even in different conversations, they'll just randomly bring up kaput across all 3 episodes.
Because it's a fun word to say.
Drinking game. If you're rewatching this season, anytime the word kaput is mentioned, drink, and you will not remember the end of the season because you'll be hammered.
It's just shots of rum all episode.
Oh, jeez. And then the biggest thing from this is Keely is gonna make the fake idol and shares that she has the real idol and this fake idol with Brooke, and so the Kaput Alliance has a little bit of power.
I mean,
I
chef's
love them
kiss.
as an alliance, but not Kaput.
Yeah. Yes.
That was like the best fake idol I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'd totally fall for that.
I would
It's
too.
nothing
I
like
mean,
the chicken idol.
yeah, it's not like the chicken
That poor
idol.
chicken idol.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, chicken idol is probably the worst. I thought David's was pretty good in All Stars. Champions versus Contenders is, I mean, it's, you can clearly tell it's a fake. It's just that poor Sean didn't realize it till it was too late. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other ones that we've had, because we definitely had a couple other ones. I just can't quite remember. Do you guys remember any other fake idols from Australian Survivor history?
Ferris do one?
I can't
Or
think
did
of
Ferris
any.
just give his real one? I think I'm thinking about when he gave his real one to Raymond, but yeah. This was like, you could have them right next to each other. Like the David and All Stars one wasn't too bad in isolation, but if you see them next to each other, it's like, okay, well, this is obviously the fake one. Whereas they actually look really good side by side. And I do think production does that stuff deliberately at this point, where they put that symbol out there on the box that, hey, looks exactly like the idol. If someone wants to make a fake with it, it'll be good TV. So let's just put it out there.
Yeah, I mean, we even got teased by this when Keely was on that, island with, was it Caleb and Sally? And they, she just yanks it right off the thing. And I mean, that's like just great thinking too, because I don't know if she even knows what one looks like at this point, but she just grabs it and she's like, this could be a fake idol. Like, screw it. Like, I could use it later on in the season. And then bam, it comes right to, full circle.
Yeah, and I feel like David is definitely like, oh, I'd love to see other people do what I did and make a fake idol. So I feel like he definitely wants them to put these symbols out there for his own enjoyment as well. So, all right, we are going to get to the reward challenge. So this is where Simon actually went out in his first season because his tribe threw it. It's the one where you have to use the ropes and balance the blocks. I guess it's cylinders in this case on the rope disc. And so Caleb, Cameron, Jackson, Laws, and Simon win IKEA meatballs. And the biggest thing from this is, of course, that Simon is going to pitch something huge in these 3 episodes, where he is going to pitch that he will pick someone else's rock from a bag. He will take 2 rocks in a rock draw scenario. And obviously this is because Simon is betting that these newbies don't really know like too much about the rules of Survivor. So I see what Simon is trying to do, but it's something that is absolutely going to fall apart very quickly for him.
Why not?
Yeah, it's something.
If people don't know the rules, then that's on them.
Yeah.
We saw this with with AJ and Miles talking about how like very few of the people on that cast knew what rocks actually was, and they kind of used that to their advantage as well. Yeah. So why not? It makes sense for Simon. Also, this challenge was just nothing. Like, if this was an immunity challenge, well, you couldn't. I guess tribal immunity, you could do it. But I don't want to watch, 20 minutes of a challenge for someone to win meatballs. Like, it's irrelevant. I don't care. It was such a long challenge for such a nothing reward.
It was pretty long, actually.
Yeah, because I feel like the whole drama with this challenge, for example, in Simon's first season is like, oh, is Simon's tribe going to throw the challenge successfully to get Simon out of the game? And you don't have those stakes in this challenge where it is in the game right now.
Are you saying that going home is more stakes than eating a meatball?
Yes, I think I am. I think it is more stakes. So no,
I just think it's funny when newbies don't know the rules, because like this is clearly like Simon just throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it sticks, and like they're all like, oh, okay, and I'm just like, come on, y'all. Like, this is obviously not real.
It's crazy that they keep finding people who 12 seasons into this show have never watched it before.
And maybe they have a little bit, you know what I mean? But maybe they just don't know the concept of what the rocks are because we haven't seen it in the Australian, right? So
True.
like,
Right, that's true. I mean, like, I will say that they haven't actually gone through with it, but the amount of time is like 3 times at this point, at least, of, you know, them explaining how rocks work to the audience. Like, I feel like at the very least they might remember it, but also, like, it's easy for us to say that being super fans that talk about this. So
It does bring a question because I've always wondered, could the person, if you really want rocks to happen, could the person with the immunity necklace offer to draw a rock in place of another player? It's not drawing 2 rocks, but I figure that would be allowed, right? There's no reason
like
why
you
not.
swap
It's the game
yourself.
equivalent.
Yeah. That'd be really interesting, actually. I wonder if that is allowed. Yeah.
I do wonder that as well. Again, nobody else has ever attempted what Simon has attempted.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, again, commend Simon for trying something. And, like, I honestly think, yeah, it doesn't work out, but I do think Simon kind of, like, he did get the redemption I feel like he was seeking throughout this. And so, I mean, we'll get to his big moment by the end of this episode, of course. But he deserves more credit than I feel he gets. So,
Do you know what his ultimate redemption is? I think.
What?
Who is the person that's been the biggest thorn in Simon's side for 3 seasons?
Yes, I was gonna bring this up later. I know what you're gonna say. He has lasted more days than King George.
That is it. King George went out on what, day 99, 98?
99, because Shawnee specifically voted him out so he wouldn't get to day 100 in Australia versus the world.
So hey, Simon beat him.
True.
At something finally.
It's very, very funny. I actually have not seen George say anything about it, so I'd love to get George's take on Simon beating.
I'm sure he'll no-sell that shit.
It probably eats at him a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we do have Caleb's Operation 99 to stop Simon from reaching 100 days, so Caleb does try.
Brutal.
I love it. I love how out there he is. Like, he just doesn't care. He's gonna tell you how it is, and they're all. I feel like sometimes they think he's joking, but sometimes I think he's for real. like this Operation 99. I'm pretty sure Caleb's telling you to your face, Simon, that he wants you dead in the water.
Yeah. Caleb again continues to be interesting, and we'll get to one of these later episodes where he literally just point blank is laughing out loud at tribal council when voting, and apparently nobody like blinks an eye at him.
They don't even care anymore.
That's just Caleb being Caleb. I love it. I think no matter what happens with Caleb here, Caleb's kind of secured himself as returnee status player because he's been really, really good content.
Yeah,
I do think he has a chance still.
He does. I think he definitely has one of the best chances. So yeah, we get the immunity challenge, and they have to use the like scissor apparatus to hold the balls in place, and Simon beats laws and guarantees himself to reach day 100, which is a huge moment. I can get being emotional over that completely because it's a big milestone that very few people across every version have ever reached, and now US Survivor cannot really reach it because of them making it less days, so.
Well, they come back for like 5 seasons maybe, and they make it to the end a bunch of times. But can we talk about the weird deal as well in this challenge?
Yeah.
Where, Blanche, who is it that offers the deal? Is it Loz? Yeah, like Loz says to Simon, like, "Oh, let me win, and I'll give you the necklace." And then you have all the people in the majority that want them out saying, "I think that's a good deal. I think you should take it." It is not a good deal. One, you're trying to prove to yourself that you can win immunity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big milestone for you, but you didn't win shit if you asked someone to give up. So how is it an achievement? You just asked someone to give up so you could have it. That's charity. It's not winning it. And then it makes no sense for Simon. So I'm glad he shut that shit down.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That was probably cracking up. I love the moment when Sally's like trying to guilt trip him too, and he's like, "Can you please stop talking?"
Yeah.
I was dying.
Oh, my girl Sally with her flawless social game.
Flawless.
Do you think it's interesting? Everyone's the main character of their own story, and like even these players that we look at in an edit point of view as, hey, let's be fair, these people aren't winning the game. Like out there are feeling that they're in a really good position. They've played an amazing game, but it doesn't translate into an edit or any real chance, I guess. But
I
you
feel
just
for
never
them.
know.
I feel for them because I feel like if I was out there and let's say I was just doing an awful game and everyone hates me and I don't know any of this, I'm probably going in the confessional booth and going, "Yeah, my game's been on peak. I'm killing it. These people don't know what's coming at them," and then they're just all laughing about me.
Right.
You'd be Andy.
Yeah. Where you're just, you literally think you're in power, and then you're just the butt of the joke every single episode. Yeah. That is the tough part because they don't get to see what we see, and like, yeah, they are being told or asked questions by production, right? Of like, how do you feel about your game? And like, you know, it's not their fault that they choose not to edit that in, or they choose not to or choose to. Like,
Yeah.
So I do feel for them. So then we're gonna get back to camp with Simon having immunity, and the majority is going to split 4 on Brooke and 3 on Keely. Cameron, interestingly, is in on flipping and trying to take out Ben, but he gets cold feet.
Michael's done with this shit.
I'm so confused by Cameron these 3 episodes.
Do you know what is frustrating about Cameron? It's like the boy who cried wolf. I respect people like Sally, Loz, these people more that are saying, no, this is my alliance, I'm sticking with my alliance, rather than someone that says, hey, I'd like to do this, but actually let's vibe check that with Loz first. Oh no, I've changed my mind. And then next time, oh, maybe we'll do this again. Oh no, sorry, I didn't end up doing that. Just, you have nothing. Cameron at that point has nothing because he's pissed off everyone. It's like, I just don't understand Cameron's game.
I was just about to say that. Like at one point, this actually starts to piss people off because I even remember Brooke saying like last week that this dude's annoying. Like, so people already have some sort of vision of Cameron, right? And if he just keeps coming to him and just flipping back on the word, like I would get pissed off personally. So I don't know what the strategy is with this guy, but
yeah. Well, and thinking back to All Stars, Sharn did this and pissed off that entire minority alliance that she sent to the jury, and so David was easily able to pick up that win by a large margin of jury votes. So like, you can't be doing this. Like, you can't just like go to the minority and continually give them false promises. Michael's camera. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think it's just annoying when people continually try to do this.
Yeah.
So, all right. So yeah, we get to tribal, and so this is gonna end up being a crazy tribal, which we'll get to the result. But Cameron comes in wearing Sally's hoodie, which prompts Simon, Keely, and Brooke to understand that the plan that they made with Cameron probably isn't going to go through. And so they come up with a new plan. Brooke pulls out her fake idol and ends up kissing it and like makes like a little show of it. And so that starts making everybody go crazy. And Keely pulls out the real one. I also forgot to bring this up, but Ben, my favorite quote of the episode is Ben talks about Blanche, and he says Blanche has the awareness of a wet fart.
Amen.
At that point, get her out of the game because there's no coming back from that. Like this, poor woman.
No comment. She's very, very low on my interest.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so Ben throws out Blanche as a backup because, they can safely split it on Blanche instead, and like nobody's gonna bat an eye or be mad that Blanche got voted out. So and so Keely is gonna play her idol on Brooke. Brooke is gonna try to play the fake idol, obviously knowing it's fake. David says it's not real. So I mean, this is a crazy move as well for Keely to then play her idol on Brooke. It's going to get Brooke's trust. So I think this is, again, a really good move from Keely, and then Brooke is going to at least try to reciprocate it so that, like, if that idol was real, like, at least they can, like, both get each other's trust more. So I think this was great.
Yeah, this was a crazy track. Like, I think Keely is just, again, like Caleb, secured that Keely will play again. This is a move where it's like, okay, you're already playing like a returnee, but now you're going to be one. It's hugely ballsy. They could have split the vote the same way, but they managed to create enough chaos, and it luckily works out for them. But Keely had no way to know that for sure. To play your idol for Brooke is hugely ballsy, and she could have went to the jury because of it. I don't think the newbies realize how much information they give away at tribal council. Like, it's insane. Like, I love that scene, like you mentioned, about wearing Sally's jumper and just the returnees clocking that and being like, yeah, he's not with us. We already knew he was wishy-washy, but now we know for sure he ain't playing with us this vote.
Yeah, I think to that, I remember Nick Iadanza saying, talking about his experience in season 1 and being on the jury and knowing, like, Elle and Brooke in season 1 wore each other's clothes all the time in season 1. And then the tribal that Brooke got blindsided, they weren't wearing each other's clothes because they were gunning for each other. Nick picked up on that. It was like, oh shit, we're about to watch some crazy stuff go down. So, like, I remember that.
And they routinely do this too. I mean, goddamn, I feel like almost every merge tribal, it's something like they just like look over and they're like, oh, this so and so's this, and I just don't understand like why they're giving away so much info like that. Because at this specific tribal, it was a possibility that they actually were believing them, right? Like believing that side, Cameron, and I don't know, but I do want to give some props to the arts and crafts session of this episode because I could not believe how like secretive they got with all this. I mean, at least from my POV, it seems like they were just running around this island for hours doing, you know, everything they can do to make this look amazing. And I mean, if it's true and they just never got caught the entire time, which I would assume is true, like this is great. This is awesome in my opinion. I love it.
Yeah.
One thing I don't understand is I don't understand why Brooke didn't just keep hold of the fake. Like, bluff it next time.
Yeah.
It's not going to work anyway. Like you could use that next tribal council. There was enough suspicion and it was believable enough, especially now that the real idol's out of the game, so there's nothing to compare it against. Like, you could bluff that as an idol and cause enough confusion that maybe you get through another vote.
Yeah, I almost think like she felt like she had to reciprocate something to Keely to let her know, like, yeah, I'm 100% with you.
Keely knows it's fake. She made it.
Well, I know. I don't know. I just feel like it's that trust factor of knowing 100%, like, I will do this for you if this was real. But yeah, you're right. Like, it is a weird situation.
I don't know. I agree with Michael. Like, you could have just easily pocketed it, like, just went like, I think I'm good on using it, and then just like went right back and then used it again the next episode. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I agree. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know. I honestly don't know. Have no comments.
Yeah. All right. Well, our favorite player, Blanche, is blindsided.
No, don't say that. I don't even know how to pronounce her name.
I didn't dislike her. She's just there.
Well, so I find this interesting because we've seen every season that they have this crazy tribal council since Heroes versus Villains. The person that goes home gets like nothing in the edit. Fraser, Charles, Blanche now. Like, what is going on? Like, why do these people get no edits?
Well, because they didn't matter.
Right.
I was just about to say that. I don't think anyone cared, even probably at home, unfortunately.
Well, just like it just is weird that this is a trend in the edit that does happen. Like, I get that. I get that they don't matter at the end of the day, but at least, like, I feel like in US Survivor, at times when they have this massive blindside, they will build that person up. I mean, I'm thinking, like, you know, Pearl Islands, that build up Rupert as this massive character. Obviously, he is, but, like, you build up to that blindside in the middle of the season that happens to him. And, like, that's what makes it so devastating, so great. And, like, you're not getting that from these irrelevant blindsides, pretty much.
My only thing with this and this is a stretch, but when you're playing this game and you're a producer and you're like putting this out for people to watch on TV, you have to, in my opinion, you have to consider, is this person even like giving us good confessionals or good statements or good like TV moments, right? And maybe she just didn't. And in this episode, they're just like, we don't have anything good to promote from her side of like strategy wise or like anything wise. So like, this is just what we have. And maybe that's, you know, like this moment, like that's probably why her blindside's so like quiet on her end. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe that's why they throw in the Ben part with the wet fart, because they're like, we didn't get shit from her. So here's an inkling.
Yeah, that's likely why they threw that in. But I mean, as relevant as these players are, it doesn't change the fact that these are crazy tribal councils, and I think that just adds to it more of like, wow, you had this whole blindside, you know, just to take out someone that was like not doing much in the game, but it was still crazy.
And
So,
I mean, to be fair, she wasn't. Yeah, Michael, go for it.
That sums up though how these blindsides work, because it's the big dogs fighting each other, and then when the grenades start getting launched, there's always, it's just someone that doesn't matter too much to their alliance that they're willing to let go of. So they do tend to be underedited, underwhelming players, because that's the players that the big players are willing to lose at that point.
right.
So it's like we're losing the players that don't matter to the story so that the bigger players can stay.
True. And like, I appreciate that more for sure. Like, I'm not saying I'd rather watch Blanche play Survivor than some of these other players. So like, I definitely would rather watch like George over Fraser, or, you know, Simon and Brooke over Blanche, like 100%.
I mean, at the end of the day, let's be honest, she wasn't even the option that was going to go. It just kind of happened, right?
It did just kind of happen, yeah.
It was well played by Ben as well to say it, like, there is a chance that both these idols are real.
Yes.
Like when everyone else is saying, no, there's no way they both have idols. Well, there is a way. It's not likely, but it is possible. It's happened. And if you're the one that's getting your name voted down, like, I'm not risking that.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, Blanche.
And you still have numbers, like, after this. So like, sorry, bye.
Yeah.
Doesn't work out for him, but it was the right idea.
Yeah.
Right. And then Simon also ends up voting for Brooke as well, which I think is going to really lead to his demise. I think this is Simon's biggest mistake, is that I honestly don't think Brooke flips on him if he doesn't vote for her. Like, it could have still happened, but I don't think Simon did himself any favors.
Yeah, that will be a topic of discussion for sure. I mean, because I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. I can see like it might happen anyways, but I certainly don't think it helps. So
yeah.
So we're gonna get now to episode 17. So Simon's gonna celebrate 100 days. It is interesting that Brooke hasn't gotten this. I saw this pointed out as well. Like, Brooke doesn't get like the 100 days montage that Simon ends up getting here. So
they celebrate Brooke in a more realistic way, where Simon's just another opportunity to make the guy look like an idiot, like a doofus. Where it's like they film it in a way where the celebration, everyone's cheering for 100 days, almost seems like a vision or a dream from Simon, and then it like gets all blurry and it cuts out and he's sat by himself and no one's talking to him. It's just like, oh my god, poor guy.
I did catch that. I was like, oh my god, editors love it.
That is true. And then it does cut to Keely and Brooke calling Simon a wimp. So like, that is true.
Wait till we'll get to his speech. Oh my god, I don't think I've ever laughed so hard at Survivor.
I feel like Simon was definitely more showboating it than Brooke too, and I think that's why it played into it.
Yeah.
Brooke was trying not to bring it up as like a fact, because hey, it makes you a threat. Stop mentioning it, Simon.
Yeah. So then Brooke goes to talk to Simon and basically like tell him like, hey, you flipped, and then, you know, tells Simon that she knows that he's probably the one that needs to work on helping flip Jackson, because they think that Jackson is the one that will split from that alliance, which is pretty crazy because we've seen how tight Ben and Jackson are. I do think in these like past 4 or 5 episodes that the editors did a good job of building this up, that these two have been really tight. And so like I'm glad that they kind of brought that up when it was relevant, because like, yeah, Ben probably could have been shown more in the first like half of the season, but I'm glad that they kind of just like brought up him and Jackson with like together when it was relevant. So
they brought up how tight they were to such a degree where I was like, well, this isn't going to happen. Like, I had no expectation that Jackson was going to go. Even at Tribal, it happened so late. Like, Jackson was fully on board with, like, hey, we're doing Brooke. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, shit, I guess we're not doing Brooke. I really didn't see this coming at all.
yeah.
And actually, I think that this chat with Jackson is the most compelling that Simon has been and the most competent that Simon has been strategically in the
Yes.
game of Survivor in all 100 days. This was like a really good chat where he really got into Jackson's head. I really liked how Simon played that.
Yeah. So what again does Simon say exactly? And I'm trying to recall. Do you have it, Michael?
Just talking about it, it was just like generally talking about like the position in the game and that Jackson needs a big move, and that like
Yes.
right now everything he does is falling under Ben's purview, and like Ben's seen as the top guy. So it was just
Right.
pushing Jackson to play the game for himself. Whereas, and also I think what I really like about it is that I don't think it makes sense for Jackson to do this, but the fact that Simon convinces them to do it, like, you've got to give him credit for it, because it blew my mind. He votes out his number one like person in the game, puts a huge target on his back to put himself into a tie situation where he's no longer even in a majority. It's a weird move, but Simon convinces him to do it.
Yeah. Simon did a really great job as well. Like I do think we have to give Simon credit, and that's why I was like, can Simon actually still take it, even though he is still getting slight like doofus edit kind of things? But like I really thought, honestly, and we'll get to it more when we get to Simon's episode, but I really thought because of that, and what we'll get at Tribal Council later, is like I really thought Simon might actually take this.
I do want to mention that I definitely think Ben got a little tunnel visioned around this time, because you constantly hear about how once the returnees go, it's Ben and Jackson are like the next, which makes sense. I mean, who else is going to go? That's a huge threat, like challenge wise and all these other threats. But I just never understood why he never like just put his guard down a tiny bit to like work with Simon more. And maybe he just had no trust in him anymore at this point, because Simon has been kind of burning people.
Right.
But you almost got to like put that aside a little bit. Like, hey, listen, like you're like my shield. If you go, then I'm screwed. Like coming down later in this game. Like, I don't know. I just never like understood it. But I mean, maybe it was just Jackson that Simon was more like, you know, he cared more about, like, oh, I can use you as my shield or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, Ben gets set up for this downfall. You know, he's doing the Dr. Evil impression. You know, this is my plan. Nobody's going to stop me. So
I loved the confessionals, by the way. Ben, like they do a good job of finding characters. Like, man, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed Ben as a character. We'll get to more of the specifics here shortly.
Yeah.
We get the immunity challenge, and this is roll 5 balls down a leaf-shaped paddle. And so Simon does win another immunity. We have Brooke like basically like begging Simon to lose. So
has there been any other season of Survivor where 2 people have traded off the immunity to this far into merge? Like, I've never seen that. The only people who have ever won immunities, Simon and Brooke, in the entire season.
Yeah, I don't recall anything else happening to quite this extent. I remember some seasons where it'd be like season 1 of Australian Survivor. I remember that like the women kept winning the necklaces until eventually Lee finally like started becoming the challenge beast. But like I don't recall like 2 people just like trading on and off.
It's just like alternate.
Yeah.
I'm also I'm like confused why they're so bad against these 2. Like, how are these 2 just that much better at all these different types of challenges? You know what I mean? It just cracks me up.
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, I mean, because you wonder that with like anybody, like any seasons that have like basically one person that is winning everything. Like I'm just Terry Dietz in Panama. Like he literally wins almost everything in the whole season. and people just aren't able to stop him. So until eventually they do, but doesn't seem like it.
You even
So
get these challenges where you're like, oh, this is perfect. Like the next episode, we'll get to it, but there's a player in that challenge where I'm like, oh, they're winning this shit because they probably have the best stability, the best balance. They don't even get close to the win. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
yeah,
I think they're both so well rounded that every challenge is going to at least favor one of them. So Brooke falls out of this challenge really early. Like she's not very good at this challenge. I don't think we ever see her get a ball. But Simon wins it, and then there's somewhere Simon drops out. I remember one of the endurance ones, Simon was out really early, but Brooke wins it. So it's like they're both so good at different things and well-rounded that just statistically one of them is most likely to win the challenge. But who are the best? You could say.
Yeah, no, 100%. And this is probably one of my personal favorite challenge. Like if I wanted to compete in a random challenge, like off the top of my head, this genre of ball roll into hole on maze, I love these so much. These are so fun to watch because you get so frustrated too in these. Like in this one specifically, if you drop, they're all done. Like you have to restart the entire thing. And I can tell you one thing: if I had 4 and I dropped, oh my god, the words coming out of my mouth would have been just flying. Oh my god,
like crash out.
Yeah,
no, I'd like Jake from whatever season he was on. I would
45, where he's stomping on the challenge and gets kicked out of the challenge for it. I'd probably be really upset too. So then we're gonna get back to camp, and so Ben is like, well, I'm just gonna try to have fun and do something fun. So he goes to their attorneys, and basically Keely is obviously a part of them, so I'll just say their attorneys, throws them Cameron. And so he says that, walks away, and they're like, no, we don't believe that. So I don't think Ben obviously needs to do this. I think this is a really bad move on Ben. So.
I think, do you know what? I think the Survivor meta has become so like formulaic in terms of this is what you do as a majority that sometimes people don't see that that's not the right way forward. Like if I'm Ben in this situation, I don't think organizing a 3-3 split is, it's so dangerous, and more often than not, it's going to backfire. Like you're giving one person the power to ultimately decide who goes home. And like if I'm Ben and my name's been written down like at the past 3 tribal councils, like I don't trust these people that much.
Right.
Like how could you? So I think at this point you just have to like load up on one of them. Just take the risk. They just played an idol. They just exposed that their other idol was fake. Take the risk and put all your votes on Brooke or Keely or whoever.
Yeah, Michael hit it on the chin too. Like you're at the point in the game where it's starting to get very serious, and like you have these gamers here like that are very dangerous. They are getting in your head. They're very methodical about what they're doing in this game. Like, why take the risk of going 3-3-3 here when specifically Ben? Like, if you're running your whole side of the ship, why do you want to put your name out so hard here, like on the ledge? Because all it takes is one push from your side and you're dead. Like you're gone.
Yeah, I agree. He definitely should have just been like, yeah, let's just stack up and not split it. Splitting is good for certain things, but not in this case. So
I think that's
what I mean. It feels like
too.
People are like expected to split now. It feels like that's what they're expected to do, and that's how you play Survivor. Every vote has to have a split. When in reality, it doesn't always have to have a split. Just do whatever's best for you to get the result. And poor Ben's gonna go waddle off down the path in a minute.
Waddle.
Sometimes it's inexperience, man. Like, cause like even him coming to them to like spitball random, pitch is weird. Like, cause you're also at the point of the game where it's fake. Like, like he's not actually coming over there solemnly. Like, hey, let's go, Cameron. And like you've burnt so many lines in the sand that I'm not trusting a word you say. Why even come over here and say some dumb shit?
Yeah, exactly.
The crazy thing is, I think that was his best plan.
Really?
You think?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was good.
Like, I mean, no, sorry. I mean, if he was actually serious about it.
Yeah, if
Like,
he's
I
actually
think that's what we
serious.
should have done.
Agreed. Yeah.
If he was
Like,
serious, yeah.
If they went Cameron here, join the returnees, you have Jackson and Ben who have put themselves out as, you know, this status of like newbie returnee status where it's like the newbies but they're seen as returnees like Keely. Like, that's a dominant 5. And you've got some shields that you can still use. Whereas, you know, just going for one of the returning players, you're just going to be, you know, speeding up the process of you being seen as that. I think Cameron was the best move from here.
Oh,
And,
100%.
you know,
Yeah.
it's easy to say that when we know Ben goes, but I thought that before we got the tribal.
Yeah.
No,
100%.
Michael literally brings up what I was saying earlier. Like these two big boys needed to work, in my opinion, with like Simon and Brooke. Like, because again, once you get if you got rid of Brooke and, you know, Simon here, who's next? You two. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
right. Agreed. So yeah, we're gonna get to tribal. Simon's gonna continue reinforcing Ben to Jackson. Jackson saying at camp like, that made me just not want to listen to Simon. He's being like the disobedient kid when your older brother or your parent like tells you to do something. So I think that's funny. But Simon continues being like, hey, this is the last moment you can make a move. And so finally this ends up paying off as Jackson makes a heel turn and flips and blindsides.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you. And flips and blindsides Ben, and the Dr. Evil himself is out of the game.
Sayonara.
Yeah. I hope Ben does return because I want to see more of that character that we got in these like 5 episodes, even though like he got way too overconfident, but it was a fun ride while it lasted, these 5 episodes. I do wish we got more of it throughout the season.
I did find it funny how Simon tried to speak to Jackson like in wrestling terms when clearly he doesn't really know that much about wrestling. I think it was all just so basic. Like, if you're in the big match, are you gonna get him in a headlock, or are you gonna go to the top rope and do a flippy flip? Like, this is what convinces you, Jackson?
This is such bro.
I would argue that Jackson made a babyface turn because he got rid of the boring majority and made the game more interesting.
Yeah, 100%. Like, honestly, I just feel like Jackson, it has this arc where I think it's setting him up to win, like the edit, I guess, more so. So
he's all I've got left, so I hope so.
He is. All right, let's hit the final episode. So we get back to camp and Jackson is like publicly claiming the Ben move. Caleb disagrees to his face. We're just continuing this feud of Caleb versus Jackson. So I'm glad that this like storyline is continuing. I honestly, if we got a Jackson and Caleb final 2, like I would love to just see them arguing back and forth in front of the jury. I think that'd be so fun.
I mean, at this rate, it's semi-possible in my opinion. I mean, they're both like always being brought up, but it's never happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe it's at like final 5, like one of the two go, but like at this rate, I don't know. Like it really depends what happens at final 7, and we'll get to it. But like Jesus Christ, it's gonna be an interesting end game.
100%. Yeah. So we're gonna get the reward challenge, and this is they have to roll the discs through the goal. And we've seen this in US Survivor as well. So they're split up into pairs. Simon and Cameron win, and they bring Brooke and Jackson to the Survivor cinema. Absolute cinema.
Well,
God
Simon, like, they agree to bring laws.
So funny.
Expecting that there's going to be letters from home and bring the parents, and Simon's like, Jackson. Like, I thought that's one of the most savage things that Simon's done in 3 seasons. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I love it.
It was good.
Psych. I'm bringing Jackson.
I'm glad at this cinema we did get like Brooke and Simon specifically. We got to focus on their loved ones because they both have little kids at home. So like that's like really awesome to see. And then we still got like Jackson and Cameron as well. I'm glad they didn't like remove their videos from the edit as well. Because I think that's important. At least I feel like Australian Survivor, when it has these like moments, generally they do try to show as much as they can of everybody. with their families, because I think that's an important part of getting to know people a little bit. So
I don't mind when it's just a few players.
yeah,
Like
four of them, I think, is a perfect
Yeah,
amount.
yeah, exactly. It's not like you're spending 20 minutes with all 12 players on this stuff. Like a few's fine. Also, it makes you realize how difficult on a human level the game of Survivor is. Because imagine watching those videos from Simon and Brooke and seeing their reactions and then saying, yeah, we're going to vote out Simon and Brooke tonight. Like, it takes like a steely heart to do that. Because how could you not root for them at that point?
Yeah. Austin, what are your thoughts on this?
These are nice, heartwarming, like portions of the season. I mean, I won't lie, I was getting a little teary up with the Jackson part where he's like talking about how he jumped, ship from what his parents were envisioning his life would be, and he's been waiting for this moment to hear it from his mom, and he hears it. So yeah, I mean, these tug at your heartstrings a little bit, but it's also in the game of Survivor, you gotta he kind of says it actually in the episode, like he hasn't even been thinking about the family part because it's probably going to interfere with his mental process at some point, and I can imagine it would, right? Like, you have to think your game, like your game's in the palm of your hands, and if you're thinking about your family and you're thinking about, oh, what would they think of me, like it probably changes things mentally. So
yeah, I can certainly relate to the Jackson thing a little bit in terms of doing something different than I guess what society and what people expect you to do. So I really appreciated that as well. And yeah, it definitely hurt even more like with Simon of seeing his family, and this is the episode he's gonna go after being able to see his daughter. And when we talked to him, Michael, I think this was he had just had his daughter, and if I remember, I think so, because I think we talked to him 2024, right? So
the kid is young.
Yeah,
no, surely not.
Maybe I don't know, maybe not.
I think it was last year. Surely it looked less than a year old.
Yeah. I mean, that might be accurate, but either way, yeah. I mean, he just had this kid not too long ago, so it definitely is harder seeing that and knowing that he's not going to make it through this episode. So
I mean, also at this. Oh, sorry, Michael, go ahead.
It was just a silly thing. The most brutal thing that happened to Simon this episode was when he went for a high five with Cameron and he got left hanging. So he just high fived himself instead. Like, poor guy. Can't even get a high five.
Speaking of doofus edits for some.
I was cracking up. That was funny. Yeah. I did want to mention one thing about this reward, though. I just find it really funny that the idol's just tucked in a corner of a couch.
Yes.
When it's been in some crazy spots this season.
It's been in the popcorn for David. So I was half expecting Brooke to find it in the popcorn machine again. David would have been put a cheeky reference to his famous moment in his first season of just gobbling the popcorn off the ground.
I actually thought it was gonna be in they showed the M&Ms quite a few times. I was like, I feel like Brooke's gonna just stick her hand in it and feel an idol. That's what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah, I think they did that in George's first season, or Heroes versus Villains. They did it. I know George was there at one point for something like that, where something was hidden M&Ms or something. So, all right. So we get to Laws proposing an all-women's alliance to Keely called the Redbacks. So a reference to the Black Widow Brigade. I mean, I don't know if it was for Laws, but that's what makes me think of course.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what
mentioned it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she did.
Yeah. So, but it's not really a lasting alliance.
That was so fake.
Yeah.
I just don't buy it at all, because nobody in their right mind is going to a Final Four with Brooke. It's a nice idea in theory, but surely not, right?
No, nobody's gonna let her get that far. I could see, I mean, because Brooke obviously has an idol now, well, half an idol. So I mean, we'll see.
One, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see where half the idol gets her at this point. But if she gets the other half, and I don't know, I could see Brooke at least fighting her way maybe to get close again, but honestly think Brooke is like falling short, just like in All Stars again.
Yeah, sadly.
I think Brooke knows this with her decisions in the past 2 episodes and what she's like said, especially this episode. I think she really knows that she has to just play for herself at this point, and like I'm sure that idol like is on the tip of her mind right now. Like, I need to find this, because maybe it is all that she has is win immunity or use an idol, or else I'm gone, sayonara. Like, it's 100% possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna get the immunity challenge now. After Brooke has half the idol. So the immunity challenge is balancing blocks on a seesaw. Brooke wins immunity again, because we're switching back and forth between her and Simon. And so we get back to camp, and Cameron is now trying to take out Simon in a 4-3-1. They're trying to trick Simon into being an idiot. But yeah, Cameron just doesn't realize that's not going to happen.
Not just that's not going to happen, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Nobody with any kind of strategic brain in Survivor is going to fall for that, because the point of a tie is that you get to re-vote. So if they were putting their four votes there, Simon can join them on the re-vote. He's not going to just randomly vote by himself and give you the majority. If you want him to join you, get him to do it on the re-vote. You don't try and throw him off, because that's not going to work. But he thinks it's this big brain idea, when it just takes the tiniest shred of a Survivor brain to realize that it makes no sense.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Austin?
All I was going to say is if I was Cameron, if you actually are considering that, just go to Simon and be like, hey, like, we're going to put it on Keely or someone that's available, like Flip, like, you know what I mean? If you actually want to work with Simon. But I mean, he's just going on with this plan where the first thing in my head would be like, oh, they're just trying to throw my vote, like, to get me out. I mean, like, literally what Michael said, it takes no brain to notice that.
Yeah. I had one of these org experiences where I had people trying to convince me to throw my vote so they could vote me out in a 4-3-1, and I immediately clocked it and instead ended up like not getting myself voted out. So it's I can relate. You know, when people try this move on you, if you're that smart, if you have half a brain, as Michael says, you can realize that people are trying to make you look stupid. So
especially when this season has been maybe more than any season so obvious where the lines are. Like, there's many other seasons where the lines are blurred, and like they've got voting blocks and it could be this way. This season is so very distinct. It is this group versus this group, and there's not much jumping between the lines going on.
Yeah.
I kind of want to bring up one thing that I'm thinking about. So this is a definite throwback throughout like the episodes way early on in the season. The moment with Harry and Lottie, just it continuously jumps into my head when he's pitching to Lottie. Do you want to work with people that are versatile, or do you want to keep these people that are like just stagnant, not willing to, you know, be fluid in the game? We're literally seeing that at this moment with certain players, with like Sally, Laz, and I'm going to consider even Cameron here, because he kind of just keeps
100%.
You know, going backwards on his words. But these people are constantly, these are the type of people you don't want farther in the game as a gamer, like as Keely, as like Brooke, because they're just never going to work with you. They're never going to be fluid in the thought process of the game strategy. Like this is why it's such a boom right now, because you have 4, because Jackson ends up, you know, flipping, that are fluid. They're willing to do something. They see the game of Survivor and they want to make resume moves. And then you have the 4 that are like, let's get to the 4, let's get to the end. Like, we trust each other, kumbaya. Like, I mean, Harry continuously makes that point so proven in my head. I just keep seeing it. Like, damn, like they could have gotten rid of some of these issues early on, but they just never did.
Yeah, it's a good point. All right, so Simon promises Jackson he's going to take his rock. Everyone seems happy to go to rocks, and we're going to get to tribal council. And now Simon gets asked the question and has to awkwardly try to talk around it.
Oh my
or
God.
talk about it. Like poor Simon.
Just say yeah.
Yeah.
Double down. Also,
he
you
should have
can
just
get
doubled
away
down.
with pretending you don't know. Like even if David, if it got to it, or obviously not going to get to it, and Simon says, "Yeah, I'll take 2 rocks," and David says, "You can't do that." Simon could just be like, "Oh, what?
Shucks.
No way."
Oh no, I didn't know that. I'm just an idiot. Like everybody thinks.
Yeah, let me get my rocks off, Dave.
Did we catch how David was like so confused at Tribal?
Yeah.
With that. He's like, "Can you explain that?" I mean, like, what?
Yeah. I think again David's continuing to get better and keep going. And I think like that's important. So again, I think like JLP, I think David's gonna keep doing it and keep getting better. So
You know what's turned around David for me as a host?
Mhm.
I like that he started just wearing his own clothes.
Yes. Yeah.
It was when he was in like the costume. I was like, he looks so weird in the costume. He's so
Yeah.
like built, and he's like not. He just looks weird in a shirt and shorts. I'm just like, it's
I'm
not his
dead.
look. But now that he's just dressed normally, I'm like, yeah, I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of trying to copy JLP or Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like JLP even like I think initially was trying to copy it, but then he's like, I'll just do my own look of like the plaid or like the muted colored t-shirt that's really tight on my biceps.
Yeah.
And so then Keely wants them to vote Laws to save Laws in the rocks. So they do that, and it ends up with a tie between Laws and Simon. We're gonna get Caleb maniacally laughing, as we referenced earlier, like publicly in his confessional, so that everybody can hear. It's just like Penner's shouting Denise behind him in Philippines. But we're gonna get the revote, and Brooke makes the decision to flip on Simon, and Simon is voted out. I get that Brooke believes with Simon gone that she can go on this immunity run. And that Simon did vote for her a couple votes ago, but I just feel like this was short-sighted at this point. I mean, you've just seen these 4 are completely willing to go to rocks together. Like I just think setting yourself up now so that you have to win immunity or hope that you get this half idol, this other half the idol. Like I just think Brooke is honestly setting herself up to potentially, fall short again. Like I think that she set herself up in this position. I think you have to have some shields in this situation a little bit longer. I think she needed to keep Simon a little bit longer. What are your guys' thoughts?
It is possible to play Survivor in a majority, Brooke. Like you don't have to always be in a minority to play the game. Like you could have taken the numbers here and at least survived like around. Like you don't have to rely on it. I don't think she can trust Simon long term, but I think it's in both their interest to at least get through this and stay together for another vote with how strong that 4 is. Like if they win the rocks and take out like I don't know, whoever was available from that unmemorable group of 3, like great, you can ride things out for a little while. But now here's what I thought. I think Brooke already has the full idol. I feel like, to me, I don't know if Brooke does this unless she already has the security of like putting yourself in a position where you have to win immunity. She's already been down that road. It didn't work. Like having to win immunity with 1 get out of jail free card in an idol, like I get that more. And I feel like maybe she's already found the second half of the idol and we're going to get like a weird edit where they make it seem like it was after the fact, but maybe she's already found that second half, and like that to me makes more sense. Maybe not, but it makes it more logical to me.
It's a good theory.
Yeah.
I'll play devil's advocate a tiny bit because I agree that I don't think I like the move. So like, I'm just trying to see what maybe she was thinking. But I mean, if you look at it, she now personally probably thinks she's the only one that can win these immunities, and maybe she's doesn't want Keely to possibly go home, or maybe she's afraid that if she keeps Simon and one of those on that side goes home, that maybe Simon and Jackson tag up on her at some point. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's more fears in her head going into that vote where she's like, if I can just get rid of Simon now, maybe I can try something, or maybe I can just win immunities out. Like, I don't know. Maybe she does have the idol too, and maybe she's just thinking to herself, shit, now I got an idol, I can go on an immunity run. Like, I don't have to worry about, the Simon anymore beating me. Like, maybe I have two immunity chances every time. Like, at the end of the day, how they showed it in my head, I'm like, I don't know if I like it that much, because why not? You have immunity. You're not going home. Why not take a chance? Because there's more of them than us, like, at risk. You know what I mean? But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. Like, hopefully it works out for her, because I think that'd be crazy. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of puts her lower on the totem with these 7. You know what I mean? Like, she's definitely more likely to go home.
Yeah. I think they could do the thing of like, oh, she just found it before. I don't know. Like, obviously this season we were, ranting about what they did with the, edit on the expiring idols earlier. So like they could absolutely mislead us, like they already have. So I think I can see that happening, honestly. I don't understand the move otherwise, honestly. So
yeah,
we'll have to see. All right, so let's hit our favorite player of the week. Even though he went out hitting 100 days, he went out winning challenges, he went out trying things. I'm gonna have to give it to SimonMee. So I think, Simon, you totally redeemed yourself. I think you had a great trilogy as you wanted. And I'm honestly sorry to see you go, and like, it just sucks. Again, the second Survivor that we've had on the podcast as well. So yeah, I will miss Simon these last few episodes, last 6 episodes. So yeah, good on you, Simon. Michael?
Yeah, good. I'll shout out Simon, because I do love Simon, but I'm giving it to Keely. Like, I think her playing the idol for Brooke is one of the most ballsy things I've seen on Survivor, because there was no guarantees that was going to work out for her. Yeah, absolutely love Keely. And I think she's in a pretty good position where there's a chance she ends up getting sniped just because they can't get Brooke, so they end up getting Keely. But she's got a really good shield in Brooke. She's now got a good relationship with Jackson. Like, maybe she can make something work. I could see Keely doing really well, and I think this was a great week for Keely.
Yeah, absolutely. Keely's a great choice. Austin?
No, I 100% was gonna pick Keely also. I mean, I just love the fact that she used her skills to craft up an idol that was just so close to being like a literal replica, and she just continuously is a huge threat, but like has people in front of her that are more threatening. And I mean, she's just in such a good place to make these moves she's making, and I just love it. She's so confident. She's got the game like kind of in her hands with Brooke. So like, yeah, she did such a good job these 3 episodes. She definitely has my pick.
Yeah. Great. That's another week in the books for Australian Survivor. So like, share, comment, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on this season. Have you been liking it, or do you think it's one of the worst seasons? I don't know. Let us know in the comments.
Do we have predictions?
Yeah.
I mean, we're at like this final 7. This could be crazy, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, Brooke, I think, is going to win a little bit more. I also think we're going to get a non-elimination here, because if they have to hit 24 episodes, we're bound to get at least one more non-elimination.
Really?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Sadly,
I think they're going to bring back the urns.
Yeah. I could see it being the heroes versus villains, the pig pen or whatever that we had Jerry and Nina go into, because that didn't happen to like final 5 or something. So like, honestly, I think that's probably something that's going to end up happening. I think that's the one we're gonna see. So,
I'm thinking that Brooke and Keely flip this game at 7 and get back into like some sort of 3-3 or something. Like I'm really hoping for like a final 6 where it's split again, like this final 8 is another chaotic mess. Like I'm really like hoping and wanting it.
Yeah, maybe that's going to be my prediction. Maybe the final 8 rocks was just the foreplay before the final 6 rocks actually happens. Like,
oh my god,
that'd be
build
insane.
into it.
That'd be insane. I'd love that. Okay, yeah. So as we said, yeah. So that's the end of this week. Let us know your thoughts, and we will see you all next week for more Australian Survivor Redemption on the Tribe of Nerds.